3, 2, 1. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Say Something family. Super thankful to be back in the building another week.
Yes, sir.
Another good week of sports to discuss as well. Lots going on. It's been a summer filled with sports, really. I mean, the entire time, pretty much.
Yeah.
So now you guys know we have Olympics kicking off. So whatever country you're rooting for, man, throw a flag in the comments. You know, we're all for world love. You know, we're going for the USA here, but we want to see everybody show out. There's always great moments for every nation there. So
Definitely.
it's always a good time. So we got a lot to talk about in there. And as well, we got some Warrior talk, some little updates for you guys on some things some players have brought up, but also kind of our overall outlook on where we're headed right now.
Yep.
Some summer league, and then, you know, as always, we have a good little bit of soccer and baseball mixed in there. So, like we said, a full platter for you guys to digest today. We look forward to it. Before anything else, we got to do our check-ins. So, my man, how are you doing? See, you got the fresh braids in.
Exactly.
My boy's back. How you feeling?
Had to delay some recording so I could get these braids in. I can't be coming out here looking a mess. If you've seen some of my first videos, I'm out here looking like Sirius Black, Harry Potter, but, you know, had to come looking right for you guys. So just happy to come in looking fresh, man. How you doing?
Yeah, nah, you saucing up. My boy dip set. Nah, the second he said that, I was like, man, let me get on the, see if I can get my barber on the phone, see if I can get right. Cause shout out to the other homies who have tried in the past, for the F. You can't don't ever blame a homie if you ask them to do something for the F, no matter what it ends up being. But I had to work my way back.
Had some yes sir lines.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a little rough.
Yeah. And so I had to, get back in the game, and sometimes it costs to be the boss. So that's what.
You live and you learn.
Yeah, that's what happens today, and shout out to G Circle Barbershop, you know what I mean, in Oakland. If y'all need some, go check them out. Some dope people in there. Anyway, feeling good though, I'm really, at the end of the day, summer's kind of already flying by.
It's hot.
Oh my God, we got a huge heat wave going. But, I think that really this show today is going to be fun. And, I got some gaming to look forward to in the near future. I myself just purchased NCAA 20, or is it 25? Yeah, I'm about to add a 20 in front of that. But I'm super excited, glitches and all. But that kicks us into the first point, which is just an easy little question, a little pass back and forth for me and Mitch before we get to the real actual agenda today. So in NCAA, this is not a personal question. This is just a question for all you audience. Pay attention. If you're getting on for the first time on the sticks, what do you think? Would you start with Dynasty or Road to Glory?
I think it's pretty fun to start with Road to Glory. It really makes it hard because if you go to certain teams, you might be a second or third string guy. Depending on what level you pick, you could be like a top recruit, or you could be a guy who's like a lesser known person that's just trying to walk on. Right. So it really just matters like what kind of experience you want to have. So far, I would say Road to Glory is the funnest compared to Dynasty, where there's a lot more glitches right now that they need to work on. But I would start with Road to Glory, and I started with Cal, of course. Started with a top recruit at quarterback, was a second string, and it's been pretty tough trying to get to first string the way they do, like the simulation through the practices and getting more energy and stuff like that. It makes it kind of tough to really progress really fast in terms of like gaining XP and getting your guy more abilities. But it's been fun. I like it, got rookie all the way to Hall of Fame. So just take your pick and have some fun, man. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad to know I chose Cal myself. Wasn't able to get into any games. I personally started a Dynasty, started sweating a little bit. It's very intense, very in depth, lots going on. So if you don't have, a little chunk of time to really sit down, play the game, please don't start Dynasty. You'll start sweating immediately.
The recruiting is all over the place too for Dynasty. I mean, that and then the ranking system. You could be 7-0 and killing it for your squad, and a 5-2 team will be ranked higher than you. It kind of is not making sense. You'll be in the national championship game as a number 2 seed facing the number 24 seed for some reason.
Yeah, we have photos.
So once they start fixing that, they
Dillon
have
Cease.
said they are trying to fix these things. Hopefully, they'll stand by it and really make it happen because it's kind of killing the game a little bit right now. For me personally,
Personally, it just doesn't even feel like a hard fix. It feels
Yeah.
like an insane problem to deal with. So you're just telling me, like, mathematically, your algorithm's just off. You're not able to recognize when somebody's win column goes up as opposed to the loss column not going up. Anyway, but I myself, like I said, it'll be interesting to see because I had that same dilemma. I was a quarterback. And, of course, you know, we're sitting there, you know, figuring out what does this first screen mean, you know, the interest, the depth chart, you know, what's really going on. And so, of course, I'm looking around. Okay, I got some interest here. You know, I picked elite. You know, I'm out here. And I'm like, where's Cal? Like, what's going on?
I didn't even want the boy.
First of all, let me say this. Why can't you pick that your hometown is Berkeley?
I was thinking the same exact thing. They got places. No, all right, no offenses to these places around the Bay. They have like Hayward, they have like Antioch. They have
from all.
How you gonna have all like
Antioch? Like all like.
I get it. People have come from those places. You know what I'm saying? But like, the school is there. That's where the school is, and you don't even have that as an option.
Let me tell you how many times I scrolled through the B's. The B's were short.
They damn near got like Bakersfield. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no.
Come on,
when I saw some of the names,
they might have Channel Islands.
No. I thought this is how serious it was for me. I said, you know what? They might have put UC Berkeley.
Nah.
They might have just off the strike. Because there's no way they got a school. Gross. There's no way they got a school where you can't be from where the school's at. But you can be from everywhere around.
Everywhere around there. You can be where Moraga and Orinda out there, bro. Like, I swear to God.
It was disgusting. So that's another. I don't know if that's a glitch or a shot.
Check yourself, EA.
Yeah, but EA, please recognize what's going on. Please get right,
man.
Very disappointing to see that as the starting point.
Raising my blood pressure.
I'm like, dang, I got to choose Oakland by default. That's just corny. Like, you guys are making us do like what these rappers do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We're all from Oakland. Yeah, if we're from the Bay. Yep, that's where we're from.
Oh man, it's tough times in EA right now, but hopefully they'll fix it and stop taking so many shots at two people who personally were big up in y'all.
Come on.
We were ready. He pre-ordered the game. I was right behind him. You know what I mean? We were ready to put Cal back to the glory days. And now you're telling me I'm a coach and I can't even be from Berkeley?
Killing me, Smalls.
Discrimination at its finest. You know what I mean? We've always been hating on in the beat.
Hell.
And now this is next level.
Out here, man.
This is next level. This is how I know it's always been a societal thing. You know what I mean? So anyway, get that right. You know B is early in the alphabet. So you don't have to think long for where it's going to be. Go ahead and get it done. We don't want to see Bakersfield and all these other things without Berkeley.
Right.
Okay? UC Berkeley, it's in the name. It's in the city. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to clarify that for y'all at EA if you thought it was in El Cerrito or something or all.
I know you guys are like in Palo Alto or like Tiburon and shit.
Shocking display of decisions right there. You know. So without further ado, I'm gonna personally play Road to Glory. But like I was saying, I was like, where's Cal? What's going on? I scroll all the way down, right? Somehow they still got mid-interest just off the strength of like, oh, Cal, you don't want an elite guy, right? You don't want an elite recruit, right, Cal? Not you, right? Because what? My grades weren't good enough or something in the video game? What is going? Like, what are you telling me? And the roster is buns. First of all, they overrated y'all. You're not an 84 overall. I don't care what they say. How you gonna have 80 offense and 82 defense and be 84 overall? The math ain't mathing. Okay? So you're telling me right now you're looking at an elite guy that's like, Cal's my thing. Even though I can't be from Berkeley, but Cal's my thing. I'd like to come. And they're like, we have interested. You a 79 as a freshman, 5-star. I don't know if you meet the pedigree. You know? So I'm like, whatever, man. I'm gonna ride it out. I love you guys so much. I'm gonna still sign on. And now he tells me I'm gonna really have to work to start.
Work for it.
Boy, I should have gone to Michigan. Because I was really thinking about it. I was like, this is still blue and yellow. I was like, there's still a lot of action going on. They were really They
was ready to throw the NIL money.
They was after me. They said NIL's even better. You didn't have to go to class. So now I might have to really restart. Like, if you guys don't bring Berkeley back as being an actual thing, and I got to be a guy from Oakland that just wanted to put on for Berkeley, like Marshawn Lynch, then I'm going to go to Michigan. Backing out.
Book it. Transfer.
Anyway, so now we are on to the NBA, which normally there's not a whole lot to talk about. Things have kind of simmered down after everything was, super popping for a bit with all the trade rumors. People are moving around. Who's going to go where? Things happen. Now the dust has settled. Things are a lot calmer. But lately there has been a little convo coming out from our Warriors.
Yep.
The two OGs have spoken. First, I'd like to just get this one out of the way because this is just beautiful news and, very quick. Steph Curry says he would love to be a Warrior for life. That is his intention. He has told the organization that is in his plans.
Stay here, buddy.
In terms of the rest of his career. So, little bit of weight off the shoulders, guys. Take that deep breath.
Till death do us part, baby.
Let it out. We're all right.
Lifer.
Yeah, the GOAT will be here. 4L.
Forever.
4L. And I don't think we could ask for more from somebody who's, in my opinion, the greatest Warrior of all time.
Yeah.
So we need to stamp him like the Lakers stamped Kobe. One jersey. That's what his career should symbolize, is the Golden State Warriors, the rise, the ascension, and the overall championships.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That out the way. Golf clap done. Now we're on to Draymond Green, who tends to give us less celebratory news. Last year, he sure had a lot of dark news to give us at key times.
Steph is the golf clap. Dre is the next slap. He's the God. What are we
back
doing
there
here?
with
what
it?
What are we doing here, buddy?
Lord knows.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when you look at last season and you really think about where we'd be with 30 more games of Dre or whatever it was, it's disgusting. It's like, oh, you're sickening.
Yeah.
Like, what? You left us off of mental stuff? Like, anyway, I don't want to go. We've already dogged you for that, Dre. And we love you. I got your jersey, your Blacktown jersey. So it's still respect, but, we all want to hold each other accountable out here. You play in the Bay Area. Bay Area folks are going to do that. And so, with all due respect, that was crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Today, he was on Jeff Teague's podcast, the 520 podcast, with Jeff Teague and his two homies. I forget their names. Also, super dope, though. That show is lit, super legit. If you haven't checked it out, check out Podcast 520 for sure.
Yes, sir.
Draymond Green came on. He's a big fan of the show and basically said, look, guys, we have been super active. The Warriors have been super active in trade talks. All the rumors are true. We are out here wheeling and dealing.
As we should be.
If you want to talk, we got ears, right? Following that up, he says, we almost made some trades last week, okay? And he believes these trades would help him and Steph's career, right?
Okay.
He also believes that he also threw the number 2 years in there, which I found very interesting on some, I think Steph may have a little more. I think that's what Dre believes is the real window here.
Yeah.
2 years, right? So he said, I think it would help us for those 2 years. But anytime that I give input based on the best possible trajectory for the organization.
Debatable.
Right? Yeah, I mean, we've never heard anything that he said, so we don't know. And he's definitely talked KD low-key out of town. So you can't always say, but...
I'm good with the bad,
Right. But I will say, I believe him in this sense in terms of now that he's in an OG seat and he's looking at the other side of the, there's two teams here. There's the youthful side and then there's the old guard, the Dynasty. So basically, from this, it was very interesting in a long-winded kind of response while also kind of being very vague still in saying that, he always gives the best input for the direction of the team. So does this mean that he's super high on the youth that we have? Or do you think that this is more of the options that we're looking at trading and what we may give up is just, it's not enough bang for the buck to try whatever we're thinking for 2 years?
The way I want to try and answer this question is based off how I feel about Draymond these days. I wasn't even like the hugest fan when we were winning with him and he was having his antics the whole time. I was kind of like teetering with him and like how well he fits with our team over the last few years. Yeah, we won the championship, but I also feel like that was a result of like all the other players as well doing really good. Like, no offense to Draymond, and I hope you respond to this from me saying this, but like, you're really just like holding on with Steph right now. Like, you're the guy, you and like, no offense to Kevon Looney either, but like, you and Kevon Looney are like the OGs. Steph is still a very viable player, is like a much better scorer than both of you guys. Like, unless you come back and they're scoring like 15 a game for us, that's why we don't have a chance to win. Like, regardless of who else we bring in, if you aren't somebody who's going to score now, especially after us losing Clay, I don't think like you're really actually helping besides like being a Udonis Haslam at this point. Or it's just like, again,
That's
like
tough.
you're just like, I mean, I know he don't even play, but it's like,
he's not even moving.
Really, it is like, okay, you'll have now the occasional like 10-10-10 game, but it's just not the same impact in terms of wins, in my opinion. I know there's probably the stats saying, oh, when Draymond plays, when he doesn't play, and we're probably above 500 when he does. But still, we haven't been viable in the playoffs. We lost first round. I don't know if we're going to be that much better if there are options like a Lauri Markkanen or a Zach LaVine. If we could get like both of those guys, maybe we could be a team that's viable for the next few years with a Steph and Draymond and just a collective of other guys. But if he's thinking about the future and for just the team, like he's like, yeah, we'll just ride it out and hopefully these young guys improve. And then you guys will have a young, solid core of 3 or 4 25-year-old guys that could maybe potentially be something moving down the line because the NBA is only getting better. And there's guys 7'4", 6'10", that's what we don't have on the Warriors who are actually excelling and getting better every year. So these guys are going to have to get exponentially better very fast if we're already thinking about past Steph and Draymond time as well. So
absolutely,
right now it is tough to think that there's a guy out there, one guy that can help the Warriors win an absolute championship or just like think that we're solidified in winning a championship. And I would agree, like there is a good side to thinking maybe we just ride it out and see how well we can improve and be good in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think I personally am way more on the Dre, side of things in terms of just, I mean, obviously I'm a big Dre fan. The antics are definitely out there. And I will say that last year I feel like that was one of the hardest things to watch just because I didn't feel like he was taking full responsibility at all times of just what was going on. And, that's hard to watch. But I do think that he's a key cog to how we play. I do think it's definitely noticeable when he's gone. It's like, our offense just doesn't really move in the same way, and our defense is butt. Like when he's out of there, it's like we're not even an actual good defensive team. So I think he's like a super, super valuable player, and I think he is definitely still can be for this team. I think my biggest question with him is like, does he want to? Because a lot of times lately in the last couple of years, and he's already admitted it in years where Steph went out and Clay ended up getting injured, where he was like, I just quit. He was like, I just didn't want to play anymore. And so my question is like, are you going to be that vet that's really going to show these guys, if we're going to go young, how to do this right, how you guys won all these dynasties, or are you going to show him kind of the quitter Dre that we've seen in the last couple of years when things aren't quite going your way, you throw a fit, and you should have better wherewithal to understand what those things will bring now, at this point in your career and what it's showing the young players on the team. And then in regards to like how I feel like he's approaching that statement, because it wasn't even like they asked him. They were more just like,
he's just like, let me let you guys in on this.
And they asked a little bit about the offseason, but he was just more like, Dre will just open up the cover, just like, let me just let y'all know what's in here. So I think that it was a firm way of backing the youngsters. Like I think he did it to like show them that even if a trade happens, like I got y'all. Because if it doesn't happen, I got y'all. And I do think he values the youth a lot, and I do think he's recognizing how good the West is. And I think that there are some pieces out there that I do think would make us viable to have a shot. But a shot, I don't know if that's what to me at this point, it will all depend on what we have to give up. You know, if we're ending up giving up one young piece, a contract filler, and some picks, I'm good. You know, and, you know, the reality for me is a couple things. One, the Warriors weren't that much better when we won the shit. The West is better than it was then, no doubt. But like that team with Jordan Poole and them, like that team was not that much better than we are right now in terms of even trajectory, you know. And I think that if we were to get one more piece, we have just as good a shot as we did that season. And at that point, we kind of have the LeBron thing on our side in terms of you just got to give those boys a shot. Then at that point, right? If we can get them within 6 or 5 in seeding realistically, and we really feel like that's a possibility, I think you do trust these guys in a 7-game series to get what's done. But I do think again that him being realistic about the 2 years is the very important part because I don't think it's any longer than that.
No, definitely.
And so I firmly believe we have to feel like we know we're going to get past the first round. And then, you know, that's when stuff starts getting high pressure. You know, experience starts really coming into play, and you could feel like, okay, we now have advantages as we advance on here. But if we don't feel like we're guaranteed to get past the first round, there's 0 point in committing anything other than reverting back to, hey, let's figure out how we get these youngsters as prepared as possible to take over the torch. I also personally just believe that, like, pretty much it's marking in or nothing in terms of, like, truly competing. Like, I think BI, if they want to come down on their price, he could definitely make us better. But does he really help us in area? Like, you know, he's a big 2-point guy.
We need a guy who's at least pretty like 6'10". Like we need a big guy who will add some kind of defense.
He is 6'10", but
he has no defense at all.
And he's the skinniest 6'10" you could ever ask for. Like you thought KD.
I didn't even realize he was 6'10".
Yeah, exactly. You should. None of us should realize that because he doesn't play 6'10", he plays 6'5". But anyway. The last thing that he said, which I found to be pretty funny, is Clay choosing 31 is disgusting. He firmly believes that is just an atrocious choice, and it will look bad on his back. Do you agree? What do you think about his statement? Like,
man, I don't know why he chose 31. I feel like I heard a couple of different reasons, so I don't know which one is true.
Yeah,
but they're all super gross.
Super gross.
Yeah, I mean, do your thing, Clay. I don't know why 31, but once I get the explanation, I'll let you know how I feel about you.
Right. I mean, if it's one up of Curry, that's disgusting. If it's shout out to Reggie Miller, that's disgusting. And if it's an homage or like a big up to Jason Terry, I mean, it's just awkward. That's just awkward. It's just like, bro, I mean, Jason the Jet Terry, I mean, he was good, but like, you just picked your jersey off of that? Like,
yeah. That's the Clay thing to do.
Very Clay. Very Clay. But yeah, I think it's going to look gross. I think it's just weird Dre said it. But I think that they have that kind of relationship where it's like, whatever.
Am I missing who's like, was somebody number 11 on?
Kyrie.
Oh, wow. Kyrie's 11? That's random. Why is he 11?
I think he's been 11 since Boston. Like, because in Boston, none of the numbers are available. Ugh. And so it's like everybody in Boston has nasty numbers. Because, like, Jaylen Brown, I think, is 7. You know, he didn't want to be 7.
What are the chances you go to another team and 11 is taken? Is 11 a big number these days?
No.
A lot of people doing 11?
No.
Let us know in the comments. You like number 11? Is that your guy?
And let us know if you got big, put some number 11s down there that we may not think of. Because, come on now. What are the odds? Anyway, moving on from the real NBA, and this is still the real NBA. But,
the real youngins.
We're talking about the Summer League, so it is a step below in terms of the true NBA competition, but it is still 100% affiliated tied to the NBA, so it is the NBA. So I'm going to hand it off to Mitch. I just want to give a quick shout-out to 5 players that I liked in this. I really thought Ron Holland is going to be something tight in the long run. I think he's exactly what I said when they picked him, is a guy who very gritty. He's not going to care that he's on Detroit. He might even take pride in it. And he's a guy that I think is like a guaranteed 20 per game scorer at some point.
Big bucket.
And so the reality is Detroit is looking for a scoring punch They have a bunch of young pieces that are very, very talented,
crazy.
but they kind of do a bunch of things. And I think this is the score out of this draft and out of the options that they had. I think this was the shoot for the stars pick. This is the guy to me who actually has the highest superstar ceiling. But
Ronnie,
you know, at the end of the day, a lot of that also has to do with he has that dog in him, you know, and so that goes a long way for me as well. Next, I would say Reed Shepherd, Houston Rockets, drafted third, making it look super debatable whether he should have gone first overall. I mean, the dude is going crazy. Percentage-wise, this guy looks like he's ready to go right now. I think Houston will have a hard time not playing him. He just does not make any mistakes. You know, he's a coach's son, so he's always doing the right thing, shoots super efficiently from the three. He has bounce, he's athletic, and he's a lock on defense. So I've been super impressed with him. Next, we have Matas Buzelis, who I feel like has been, grew up a Bulls fan, truly showing out. He's a guy that at one point was looked at as a potential number 1 overall pick. And I think he's showing why. When he's over there, you know, 6'10", doing his thing, got a lot of wiggle to him. So check him out for sure. Next, we have Donovan Clingan for Portland.
Big boy.
The big UConn man. You know, this guy is, you know, going to potentially be, you know, defensive rookie of the year if that was an award. But definitely would be up there for it. And I think in the future he has defensive player of the year potential. So this is a guy that I think will be a cornerstone for Portland. Looking good over there, big 7'2". And then lastly, we got Stephen Castle.
Yes, sir.
Did not play a lot, played one game, but they pulled him right after their design. He went off good, you know, sit down. I think this guy, him and Wembanyama are going to be a problem. I think he was barely scratching the surface when you're talking about, you know, what he was doing at UConn. Pretty much was just asking him to be a lockup, you know, yard dog kind of guy. And I think he has a lot more to give. So be on the lookout for him as well. That would be my 5. And my bottom 2 would be the 2 French boys. Yeah. Sar and Rishisher. I don't know if I said Rishisher's name right, but doesn't even matter at this point because you right now are not proving to me that I should know your name. So I'm going to hand it off to Mitch with that.
So we got Jordan Miller from the Clippers. Had a 36 his first game. Killing it in Summer League right now. 2nd round pick out of Miami. Played last year in the G League. So he's a young guy who maybe not too many people have heard of, who is going off right now. And then, again, I want to look at the 2 Frenchmen, man. Are these guys going to be huge busts? Were they completely overrated by everybody because of Wembanyama last year? I just want to hear what you guys had to think about what you saw them, how they started off in the Summer League. Isn't the final NBA like the real thing yet? But it's not good signs if in Summer League they can't get buckets because Alexander Sarr was looking pretty sorry. Yeah. So
and Sarr,
he needs to figure it out.
Sarr was way worse. Yeah. Sure to me too. Like Sarr, I don't know. I know big men, it takes longer to translate, but boy, it looks like you were in a different French league than Wemby. Yeah. I don't know if you guys were playing the same.
It makes me wonder what people were looking at when they thought that you should be a number 1 pick. Did they just underrate all the people who are coming out of college this year compared to these guys? Because it seems like you're saying like a Reed Shepherd and Stephon Castle are looking like top guys where it's like those first couple of picks, man, it looked like those could have been really good guys for you guys in Atlanta and then the Pistons or the Washington Wizards. Yep. Those guys could have been real solid for you guys, and now you got big question marks. So yeah, look out for those 2. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think they're going to be complete busts, or you think they're going to turn it around and have a good season?
Right. And I completely agree in terms of just I think that this was just a weak draft, unfortunately. So I think that a lot of that played in part of, you know, can we try to hit a home run since there's no sure shots? Yeah. And, you know, foreigners, some of these guys with more question marks, I think people were able to convince themselves maybe these question marks are actually, you know, star power marks. And, you know, I think
that reminds me of like when you try and get a recruit that you don't know his ranking yet, and you're like, oh my goodness, it says he's gonna be he's a 2-star. What the
100%.
This is not okay.
100%. And you're always chasing that one guy who, you know, everybody thought might be a 2-star and ends up being a 5-star. Right. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I think that a lot of times what's right in front of your face, you're overthinking, you're overlooking, you're overanalyzing. And then, you know, you're looking at something overseas. You're thinking, you know, oh, God, this guy's been pro for this long. His lineage is all pro. blah, blah, blah. They both have length. They both are super young, so they have a shot. But, again, like Mitch is saying, starting off like that is not good, young fellas. Let's be clear. And hopefully you guys are both going to be on semi-boop teams. So hopefully you get that burn, you get those reps, you figure out how to get in the game. Because otherwise, this league does move on very quickly from high draft picks. So just want to let y'all know that now that y'all are in America.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Exactly. The other thing I would say is please put down if you guys had any other names we missed who you thought did super well in the summer league. I'm sorry. We would love to hear because I know we did miss some names.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's always fair. We'd love to double back.
I mean, there's a lot of guys going off.
There was.
Even for the Warriors, Kevin Knox was going off. Even Guy Santos was going off.
If we didn't sit our goons, we were going to go undefeated.
So, I mean, they got some good guys going off on all these teams this summer league. So it's been some good ball. A lot of unknown guys too who are putting up big numbers, like a Jordan or what was it? Sorry, Jordan Miller.
Yeah, serving. Yep, exactly. So we're gonna move on down, but it's still a little bit of that bouncing ball with the Olympic team. So I got a quick question. I know you guys are probably shaking in your boots or your shoes or your socks or whatever it is you got on right now, because if you've watched any of these games, it's not been an easy watch.
It's been close.
Other than probably the fact that you know every single person by face and by name and by jersey on our team. That's been about the only thing comfortable with these games.
Yeah.
What do you think? Should we be worried? I mean, South Sudan and Germany, man.
So, at the end of the day, we did go 5-0 for these friendly games. So that was a good thing. I think because of the fact that we went through such a difficult time with these games, it's going to better prepare us for the actual Olympic Games. I think we just have been battle tested. We've seen how bad it can be for our guys when things are going wrong, when we're not all cohesive movement. But I think now after going through those games that we're going to have a better understanding of how we need to play and who we need to play at certain times. I also felt like these last couple games, Joel finally did better. I don't know why Steve Kerr is so steadfastly trying to play him at all times, but I think we could do better with an AD in there. Starting lineup, he would be the perfect guy for us. He's just always going to be a better all-around guy in terms of defense, moving with the ball, passing, playing with agility and stuff like that. Just the foreign game is just a lot tougher than I feel like Joel Embiid is ready for it unless it's a slowed down game. So I'm happy with where we're at. I'm glad we got all the tough games, all the bad juju out of there after these first 5 games, still going 5-0. And I see good things happening, especially if LeBron's going to take over like that at the end of every game.
Yeah. I mean, these are friendlies. I do think that, what's a little scary is the on and offness of this team, which, I love that they can seemingly turn it on when they feel like, okay, you know what, we might actually lose this, hold on. But it is the lulls that they have at times for me are concerning, just because I do think that there are teams out here that can get a dub on us.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this team is one of them teams to where if it was dub and not just being down 6 to a team you're not supposed to be down, I don't know if they've proven to me that they're gonna get it together as a group and come on, let's go rock out. Now that being said, I think also a big part of this is there's been no KD.
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
To me, KD
just KD, right?
Yeah, and it's KD is this team's most fluid at this point. Just go get a bucket guy. Obviously, like we said in the other episode, he's this team's Carmelo, right?
Yeah.
The guy that just go out, ISO, it's over.
Hopefully he can bounce back.
And I think he got bopped on today by Ant, or I think it was today or yesterday in practice. Which, if you guys haven't seen that photo and you're a fan of Ant, definitely go see it. If you're a fan of KD, see it through squinted eyes or just avoid it. But yeah, it definitely happened. But I think he makes a big difference with this team. At times, I think, we can see how powerful Steph is with his jumper. And we also see what it's like when both of those guys are on the court together.
Yeah.
I think that'll make it, for guys like LeBron and some of these other bruisers, it's just going to make the court wide open.
I think also our 3-point game. Our 3-point game has been lacking this whole
100%.
time. We've been going 4 or 5 for 20 in these games. and the other teams are actually cashing from 3 this whole time. So I think that's a big thing. We're scoring a lot of 2-pointers, and the other teams are scoring a lot of 3-pointers, and it kind of seems like that's how these other countries want to play against us, where it's just chuck it up there as many times as we can, because that's just a better chance for us to score more and more and more if we just keep shooting threes. Like, I think Germany outshot us like 28 threes, and we only had like 14 or something like that. So we got to be able to create more 3-point shots for us, because, I mean, that's what the NBA has turned into. So we have to figure out the spacing with this team to get guys open shots.
Definitely. I agree. The other thing I think that's very interesting is it's very plausible that there's some agreement with Embiid, the coaching, USA, in order for him to be a part of USA basketball. We
like
guaranteed
France,
him a role.
Instead of like
definitely, because
Cameroon.
I mean, which he wasn't going to play for Cameroon. It was between France and the US,
because France needs another 7'2" guy.
Right. But that would be a crazy lineup.
Rudy, Wemby, and Embiid.
Oh my God,
that'd be gross.
Oh my God, you would just might as well keep one of them down. Gobert down at that end. You keep
one in the middle, Embiid, one on each side.
You keep Embiid on the offensive end, and Wemby can run back and forth. But yeah, so I think that KD will make a big difference. I hope that the lackluster lulls, the up and downs, are a little less as we pick up the real ball. But I'd say let's double back after game 1 against Serbia. Let's double back. Let's check the energy. Let's check the vibe. Let's check the approach from the coaching staff. And we'll come back to y'all and make sure we have a brand new report with updated information based on what we see in real ball. All right. Next, we got soccer. Also in the Olympics, we had the United States. You guys may not be knowing because we just played Copa America and got real quick put out of there. But we're playing again. This is not the same team. This is obviously under 23s, but you're allowed to bring 3 players who are overage.
Let's go. Who we got?
Oh man, it is nasty. It's nasty. Yeah, we have Miles Robinson, who's actually solid, but he's not,
defense.
Yeah, defense. And we have oh man, Zimmerman.
Okay, is it another
center back?
Maybe?
Center back.
Okay, center back.
And man, I can't even remember the other guy because he's not like enough because he wasn't even on the other team. So he was one of these backups. I will look that up once I hand this off to him for MLB, and maybe I'll get there for that last third one before we finish. But nonetheless,
clearly they're
not notable enough names to truly matter, and it's a blessing that I got 2 out of 3. The rest of the team, there are some young studs out there. There's some ballers that are being brought up. Halilovic is raw, like he's super dope, but again, he's like 18. And so, a lot of these guys we push up, or, we have some guys who are playing down who just aren't good enough. But when France is bringing players like Lacazette, you know what I mean? They're bringing Balde, they're bringing, Olise. They got these are dudes, where it's like we're gonna need a lot more from our overage players. 2 out of the 3 overage players for France ended up scoring, so that's 2 out of their 3 goals as well. And one of them was on the helmet of Zimmerman. Also Zimmerman's passing out the back truly left something to be desired. He was 86%, which to y'all may sound okay, but like in soccer, if you're not over 90% as a center back, a lot of these are not pressured passes. So it's just like you are struggling. USA's in trouble. I think across the board we're in trouble. This team, though, does have enough talent to turn it around. I would say, like I said, the bottom line is we're not going to get more from our overage players, and that's who we truly decided to bring. There's other countries that it's kind of my point that their backup guys are really like that.
Well, I mean, he's an OG, like 9-ish, right? Lacazette. Yeah. So it's just like that's the difference is we don't have an OG 9. We don't have a 9 in general. So
nothing.
Like to think that we could send somebody who would actually help in terms of scoring for us. Yeah. I think that's not going to happen.
We can't call on Landon Donovan.
We just said 2 out of 3 of them are defenders. So,
Clint Dempsey is not coming out of that announcing booth. We're not getting anybody over here. That's the wrap up. We'll keep watching. Like I said, I'll get a little more updates on the true roster. I'm a little behind on that, so I'm not going to cap to y'all like I'm all over it. I was all over the Copa America. I was all over the Euros. This I'm getting a little more familiar with because the roster construction is just weird.
Right. It's under 23s. It's like how many under 23 people did anybody know? You know, unless they're already on the top stage.
And I was gonna say, and let's be real, all the true top under 23s are already up there.
Yeah.
You know, with soccer, 16 you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 18 for sure. 21, they're like, you should have been here for about 4 years now. You know, so that's soccer. I got y'all. Again, we got some matchups coming up that I'll make sure I'm on top of. If there are any other countries that you guys are watching, like I said, please drop them in the chat. If I see enough of anything, of course, I'll make sure that I keep my binoculars out to pick up a couple little news and little updates here and there from whatever teams those are. So, like I said, the comments actually do have value. So if you have somebody you want to see, drop enough of it, and you might end up seeing it on this show.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on with the Olympics,
lot.
Man, there's so many things to look at.
A lot.
So that's why it's tough when you got all these different countries out there to choose from and all these different events.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So if there are moments that are big enough, put them in the comments, and Mitch and I will see them, and we'll get after them. And lastly, so to close today, we have a wonderful MLB Hot Corner, as we always do. There's been a lot going on in baseball. There was All-Star break. There was a lot of events going on, which we've chatted about a little bit. But, you know, we're back in it. They're back hitting again. The Stars are back for their teams, got the unis on. So we're going to let him give y'all a little update on what's been popping.
Like you said, we got some post-All-Star stuff going on. A lot of top players and top teams going at it right now. We're just going to start right now with some fantasy pickups. It's the back end of the season. There's some guys who are out here to be streamed. You got some guys getting called up that you should keep your eye on that might still be on your waiver wire that could help out your team for the rest of the season. First off, I want to give my shout out to Tyler Fitzgerald.
There we go.
Shortstop, outfielder for the San Francisco Giants.
Baller.
This past month, he's been batting .444, 11 runs, 5 home runs, 9 RBIs, and just 27 at-bats. So this man can really stick. Put him in the game, Giants, if y'all want to start winning some more games, you know?
Get it done.
Next, we got Juan Yepes from the Nationals, first baseman, outfielder.
Yepes.
Batting .424, 7 runs, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs over the last 2 weeks.
If you know, you
He's
know.
somebody going on for the Nationals who just got called up recently. He hasn't had too many at-bats, so he's somebody who could be on your waiver wire. Next, we got Brian Wu from the Mariners, pitcher. Fresh off an injury, got his first win out of his first game, had 5 strikeouts. And his next matchup is against the White Sox. So that's a team that's severely lacking in hitting. And so that's a team he can always get another win from. Next, shout out to the OG, Clayton Kershaw, coming back from long injury.
Yes, sir.
Came back from his first start, did his thing. And now he's going to face the A's, who are, again, are another team that besides Brent Rooker and Lawrence Butler have no other hitters right now.
No.
So I think those 4 guys for you guys streaming right now can still be on your waiver wire, and I think those guys could really help your team for the rest of the season. And next, we got our big news of the day. We got our man Dillon Cease from the San Diego Padres throwing a no-hitter.
Killing.
His first no-hitter of his career.
Killing.
Absolutely shoving. Had 9 strikeouts on 3 walks to make this no-hitter happen. It's the second one in Padres history. Joe Musgrove had one back in 2021. They've been around for 53 years, hadn't had one. And then 2 in the last 4 years. That's crazy. Shouts out to this Dillon Cease. He's been going crazy not only after this game, but his last few starts have actually been pretty historic. He's over his last 22 innings. He has 30 strikeouts and has gone 3-0 and has given up 0 runs. So he's absolutely shoving. That's a great accomplishment these days. He's actually gone over 6 innings the last 4 outings. Another thing that you don't see as often these days with pitchers who usually just go 1 or 2 times through the lineup and barely get out of the 5th inning. He's somebody who's out there getting 9, 10, 11 strikeouts per game and taking it all the way to the 7th inning or plus. So he's been a great starter for them. And it's exciting to see, man. Not often that you get no-hitters out there. So shouts out to you, Dillon Cease, for getting that no-hitter.
Balling.
Now that we're in the backside of the season, we got about 60-ish games left to go. We got some top teams going at it. We got AL East.
Big hitters.
Orioles, 61-41, leading the AL East with the Yankees and the Red Sox behind by 2 games and then 6.5 games. So with 60 games left, there's still some parity, a lot to fight for. I know the Yankees still want to catch up. They don't want to be a wild card team. Hopefully, they can make some things happen, and we'll get to that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we got the AL Central, where the Guardians are holding it down over the Twins and the Royals. Twins are 4.5 games back. The Royals 5.5 games back, so they're keeping things close there as well. Next, the AL West. Woo! The Astros made it all the way back. Crawling from the back of the line. We're here, a game up against the Mariners, who have really been slacking. The Astros 53-49 now, and the Rangers, defending champs, 51-52, hanging in there, just 2.5 games back in the AL West. Next, NL East, we have the MLB best Philadelphia Phillies, 64-38, and we have the Braves behind them, 9 games behind. They're definitely going to be a team with all their injuries looking to make a wild card push.
So many injuries.
So many injuries. You got Ozzy Albies, Ronald Acuna, Spencer Strider, just to name a few.
Those are.
Those
the whole team.
That's the whole squad. It's your best hitter, best pitcher, and arguably like second best all around guy.
Yeah.
So it's tough for them. I didn't mention any other teams in that division because it ain't even close. NL Central, we got the Brewers on the top of that, with the Cardinals back 6 games and the Pirates got back 7 games, so they can keep that close. O'Neal, Cruz, and the boys in Pittsburgh. We got Paul Skeens out there. Hopefully they can get Jared Jones back on the mound so they can have back-to-back aces up there. Last but not least, we got the NL West. Yep. We got the Dodgers on top, 62-42, with behind them the Padres and the D-backs, 7.5 and 8.5 games back respectively. Giants looking a little lowly right now. Maybe they can make something happen. I know Blake Snell has been making a good comeback.
Where they at?
Robbie Ray just had a great quality start. Yeah. His first start coming back. And like I said, guys like Tyler Fitzgerald, Helio Ramos are really stepping up for them.
Thanks.
Next, to go on what we were talking about with the Yankees trying to make a push.
The Yankees.
We got the MLB trade deadline coming up. Next Tuesday is the last day. We got guys like Jack Flaherty.
Who's moving?
Jack Flaherty from the Tigers could be an option at pitcher for a team like the Orioles to match up with Corbin Burns to have 2 aces on their team. They're already on the top of their division, top of baseball. They're looking to solidify themselves as a World Series contender. A guy like Garrett Crochet, who's been killing it for the White Sox, which has been amazing because he's gone from reliever to starting pitcher. He's somebody who's getting you like 9, 10, 11 strikeouts per game. He's a hot commodity right now. He's looking for a contract extension, and teams are wondering how they can best use him throughout the season for the first time going so many innings. They want to manage his innings and see how he can be able to pitch in the playoffs and postseason, everything all the way through.
But he wants to stay a starter, right?
He wants to stay a starter, though. And with his numbers, 157 strikeouts, leading the MLB in 111 innings.
Hard to argue
taking this guy out of your starting rotation.
For real. I got him in my fantasy team, by the way. He's not lying.
He's shoving. But yeah, other guys like Tarek Skubal, he's another Tigers pitcher who could really shove. He could go to somewhere like the Yankees or the Orioles or the Dodgers and potentially help them out, especially with Yamamoto being out for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And then some hitters that could help the Yankees potentially in particular. We got guys like Randy Arozarena from the Tampa Bay Rays, who has been up and down this season, but maybe being infused in this Juan Soto, Aaron Judge outfield.
They are both in New York, though, so let's give them a break.
But having those 3 in the outfield would be crazy.
Ridiculous.
Another person is Luis Robert from the White Sox as well, who could also rake and be a part of a crazy threesome in the outfield. And then somebody else for infield, Jonathan India is a hot commodity out there.
Yeah.
He's somebody that I think could garner a lot for the Reds, especially if they're looking for some pitching.
Yep.
And then last but not least, we got Vladdy Jr. The Toronto Blue Jays are saying they don't want to. They're saying they're not shopping him around, but the way that team's looking this year, he could be looking to get his way out of there, and that could be another Yankee, or Oriole, and or Padre potentially too. There's a lot of teams looking to step up.
They wanted to send off Bo, right? But then he got injured.
Bo Bichette got injured. Mason Miller from the A's, the great closer, he got injured.
Punching something.
Come
on, man.
It's not looking good for those trades. They were guys who are going to be good good options.
Huge piece.
Huge
That
options.
was the number one reliever on the
Right,
market.
number one reliever out of there. So that's kind of your wrap up right now. These have been a lot of things going on for the post All-Star break. 60 more games, then we're going to get to wild card and playoffs. It's going to be a good push all the way towards the end. Remember Tyler Fitzgerald, Juan Yepes, Brian Wu, Clayton Kershaw for your fantasy teams. And that's our MLB roundup for today, man.
Facts. And I got the last name. It's Mihalovic, so I was right. That is the third.
Mihalovic.
That is the third overage player for the U.S. team. We need more from all three of you guys, but we'll have more on all of this. And like he said, we're going to be up on MLB through the entire stretch as we get to solidifying playoffs and everything. We're going to have it all for y'all.
Just since we got the kickoff to Olympics starting before we're going to come back next week, just want to give a shout out to some of our Olympians for USA that I think you guys should go watch. Will be very, very entertaining. We got Simone Biles coming back for her third Olympics after having some issues in the last one. She's ready to bounce back.
Love it.
Katie Ledecky, the absolute GOAT in women's swimming. She's going to win every single one of her races, probably by at least the length of the pool.
All four.
Next, we got Noah Lyles. He became the first runner since Jamaican Usain Bolt to complete the treble. That means he was winning the gold in the 100, 200-meter sprint, and the 4x100 relay. He's somebody who could absolutely take all the golds in terms of men's sprints. Next, for women's, we got our girl, Sha'Carri Richardson. She made it all the way to the Olympics. I know she's excited. I know she's going to show out. Big bounce back.
We love it.
I know she's going to show out, and she's going to be a spectacle to watch. Then we got Coco Gauff for tennis. She's going to hold it down for us in USA. And then last but not least, I want to shout out our man, Chase Budinger. He's not on the basketball team.
Who?
He's on the beach volleyball team.
Let's go.
Chase Budinger out there, former Arizona, former NBA player, now out there on the beach. So just want to shout out those guys and go out there and watch them and support USA, man. We out here.
Absolutely. Put in the comments, last thing, how many medals you think the U.S. is going to collect this year. And we are going to make sure we follow Chase Budinger, especially because what a motivational story that is. Fall out in one sport, come good enough to go to the Olympics in another. That's the U.S. dream right there. See y'all next week. Signing out from the Say Something fam. Boom.